where we discuss media related topics at ease. So today in this video we will be studying about media research. What is media research? Media research is actually the systematic study of various forms of media. Media research means the systematic study of various forms of media. It includes print, broadcast, digital and social media. As we know that media research consists of researching the print media, the broadcasting media, the digital media, the social media, as well as the traditional media. To understand their content, audiences produce, process the effect of an individual on the society, on the media itself. We conduct media research. Now, as I have said, to study the effect on the media, we conduct media research on the society, on the people, on the system, on the process. Now we can see that why is media research important? Why media research is important? Media research is important because to measure media's influence on public opinion and behavior. Media research is important to measure the influence, how it's influencing. Nowadays we know some certain terms that mean influencers. Influencer, the term influencer is positive as well as negative. So we must know, we must research the fact that we must measure the media's influence on whom? On the opinion and behavior of the general mass. To improve media content and program based on audience feedback, we also improve the media's content and program to based on audience feedback. That's why media research is also important. To understand how media control is produced and regulated, we also understand how media's control is produced and regulated. To analyze the changing landscape of digital and social media, we must also analyze the changing landscape, how it is changing, the digital as well as social media. That's why media research is also important. And to support the advertising, why media research is important? The another part, we know that media research is important to the advertisers, to the marketing people, to the public relation strategies, to implement to run a particular media advertisement, to run a particular marketing format, for a public relation strategies, or for the audience research part. Media is very much important, media research is very much important. Now talking about the types of media research. The types of media research are audience research, content analysis, effect research and production research. Content research, effect research, production research, audience research, these are pretty much self-explanatory. Audience research means it studies the media consumption pattern of the audience, the preferences. It studies about the demographic structure as well. What do you mean by content analysis? Content, it is pretty much self-explanatory. Analyzing the content part, the themes, the messages, the representation in media content. And the effect research means what it's affecting, the effect part, the cognitive, the affective, the behavioral, which part it's affecting the most. That means it investigate, while studying about the effective research, it investigates the impact of media on attitudes, public's attitude, the masses attitude, the opinion and the behavior. And finally the production research. Production research studies how media organizations produces and distributes content. All right, now moving on, the next part, that means some examples of media research. If we consider some example of media research, we can say the survey and questionnaire part. Media research focuses on the survey and the questionnaire part, on focus group studies, on experiments, on content analysis part, on ethnographic research and big data analysis. That means the social and digital media. Nowadays privacy is a myth. We are having our digital footprints. For the example of research methodology, survey and questionnaires. For survey, the surveys are required. Surveys are conducted for to understand, to study the communication research, the media research. We also conduct focus group discussions for media, the effective part, the experiments, taking some groups, experimental groups, the ethnographic research, finally the big data analysis for social and digital media. So to a nutshell, we can say that media research, while talking about media research is a systematic study of various forms of media. It can be traditional, it can be modern, including the broadcast, the print, as well as the digital and social media. Why we are studying the media research, why it is important? To understand their content, the audience, the production process, and effects on individuals and society. It also involves collecting, analyzing, and interpreting data related to how media messages are created, disseminated, received, and influence people's altitude. So it involves the collecting, analyzing, and interpreting data related to how media messages are created, disseminating, receives, and influence people's altitude, beliefs, and behavior. Media research talks about the systematic study. Systematic study of what? Systematic study of various forms of media, including the print, the broadcast, the digital, and social media. That means research, it's the kind of the printing to the digital. The key definitions, according to Weimer Dominic, we can say that media research is the study of media content, audience, the effects, the institutions by applying systematic, empirical, and critical approaches. Dennis Maxwell in 2010 also stated that media research is to the systematic investigation. It's an investigation part of media content, its production, use, and influence within the wide context of society and culture. And why media research is important? Media research is important because it measures the media's influence on public opinion and behavior. It improves media's content and program based on the audience feedback. That means to make something at par in a goodwill, then we must understand these aspects. To analyze the charming landscape of digital and social media, to support advertising, marketing, and public relations strategies through audience research. Now, media research can broadly be divided into two parts. Survey, under survey research, we have case studies, content analysis, and discourse analysis. We have census and we have interviews. And under observational research, we have sensation, attention, and perception. Components of observation, any part of observation while researching, we have three parts. Number one, we must observe with our senses, the sensation part. We must observe by paying full attention, and we must observe with our preconceived notion, that is the perception of the researcher. Now, types of observation. Observation can further be divided into three parts. That means the controlled observer. While observing a certain element, we are setting a controlled observer part. A naturalistic observation. We are observing in a naturalistic way. That means the spontaneous behavior. We are going to the ethnographic part, the spontaneous behavior of a participant in natural surroundings. So observation can be done in two parts. One in controlled observation, that means in a lab, in a controlled setting, and another one in a naturalistic observation. That means spontaneous behavior of participant in natural surrounding. And the third part is that the participant observation, where the researcher joins the group, of study. It's an ethnographic part. They get involved in the research in that particular. Suppose some researchers is studying about a tribe, about Jarwa community of Andaman. Then the participant observation, that means the researcher is participating in that particular tribes, in that particular community, to conduct a productive research. Now the research process. This is very important from NTUGC NET and SET perspective. The research process, not only media research, any kind of research, for any kind of research, this process is same. The process, there are 15 steps of research process. Number one, first we have to identify the research, and this is chronological. We must learn this particular process in a chronological order. Research problem, first comes the research problem. After identifying the research problem, there is formulation of research objectives. After formulating the research objective, there is review of related literature. That means the objectivity, after finding the objectivity, we must review the related literature. Then we must delimitation of the research problem. The research problem, how to execute that particular research, must be delimited. Formulation of testable hypothesis. While explaining the hypothesis part, we have discussed the formulation of hypothesis, testable hypothesis, the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. The researcher has to generate both the hypothesis. Then we have identification of research variables, the dependent variable, the independent variable. After that, we have construction of research design. That means the method of research. Then we have tools for data collection. After that, we have designing plans for data collection. So this is chronological order. After designing the plan for data collection, we collect the data, we process the data, we analyze and interpret the data, finally drawing conclusions and recommendations, and writing our report, the research report. Finally, the report of research findings we publish. So that's with today's media research part and the process of research. This is not only media research, this process is common for everything. Keep connecting and keep supporting at ease no media, where we discuss media related topics at ease. Tomorrow we will be talking about sample frame.